Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Seahawk Talk here on the Salve Athletics Network. I am Andy Pizzelli, broadcasting to you live across Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. We have a jam-packed show for you here today. We have got Rob McGuinness, Casey Febus, Allisen Trunfio, Courtney Bouchard, Morgan McBrier, Jacob Guerra, and Casey Kelly. Absolutely stacked program. This is going to be the fastest hour in Seahawk Talk. And we want to start it off by reminding you all to keep your distance. Just an absolutely perfect song for our program and for the message that we're always trying to employ everybody. Keep your distance, stay safe, social distancing, all of that great stuff. Want to bring into the program now the producers, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco. Guys, how are we here today?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
I wanted to lead the show with a little note. Usually when, I'm a Boston Celtics fan or I'm a Boston sports fan. Whenever my teams lose, I try to find who am I going to root for next. And as somebody who's a broadcaster and a journalist, I try to say, well, what's going to be the story? What's the best story? And I'll root for that. And I think tonight, game 1 of the NBA Finals, I will be rooting for the Miami Heat, even though they took out my Boston Celtics, because I just think the story of a team that nobody really thought would be in the position that they're in. Maybe the bubble had something to do with that, but they have a chance to win a title kind of out of nowhere. They're the Cinderella story. And there's a Cinderella story inside of the Cinderella story, and that is Duncan Robinson, who was a Division III basketball player for Williams, a school that is a New England school that Salve is very familiar with. He played 2 years there, worked his tail off, got a scholarship opportunity from Michigan, went to Michigan, redshirted, played 2 years, and then gets drafted, is in the NBA. And kind of even pre-draft, I saw a note from a reporter who Duncan Robinson had reached out to him about, hey, I kind of want to learn about this media thing. I like your website, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we have a chance to talk. He wasn't even expecting to get drafted or have any success in the NBA. Now he's a starter for the Miami Heat and is playing in the NBA Finals tonight. Just an awesome, awesome story. The kid's tremendously talented as a shooter. And one other note, he's the only player in collegiate basketball history to play in both the Division III National Championship and the Division I National Championship. And now he's going to be playing in his first NBA Finals here tonight in his second year. I just thought that was a really great, like I said, the Cinderella story inside of the Cinderella story.
Yeah, he's like a modern day Kyle Korver when you think about it. He is probably the best pure shooter that they have in the NBA. But we're all pushed back on you a little bit, as I kind of think that the Heat ruined what would have been an even better story, maybe, which is a new 2020 LA versus Boston. Kind of a flashback to the Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson years where the Celtics and Lakers would play each other. Now we could have had LeBron versus Kemba or LeBron versus Tatum kind of thing, which could have evolved over the years. But he kind of had to spoil that for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, this was the lesser of two evils. I mean, this was the story I had to settle for. Celtics Lakers would have been the story. That would have had everything in it. If I have to fall back on something, I got to go with the Heat and Duncan Robinson's story before I can't root for the Lakers. I mean, that's just
naturally
in my blood. Ed brings up too Dodgers Red Sox. That's another good rivalry. The Boston LA thing, no matter how you get it now, is pretty good. But just wanted to bring that up. Always will root for the story. I usually root for the underdog, and the Heat are both underdog and good story. So, any other things from you guys to lead off the show here today?
In And just to say for the record, I do agree. I will be rooting for the Heat as well. But just to bring it here locally for a second, the Embrace Home Loans, which I actually didn't know about till today. It's like a local mortgage lender in Middletown, and they donated 9,000 masks to public schools today on Aquidneck Island. So those will be going to Portsmouth, Middletown, and then Newport. So just I thought a good little piece of news to mention there. About some good local company helping out their local schools.
Yeah, that's tremendous. That's like one of the biggest things with the getting back to school thing. And I know I have plenty of friends who are teachers and work in schools. They're like, so are you guys going to give us tons of masks? And you got to, how is all this stuff going to happen? How's this all going to work? I mean, in a normal year, they're fighting for pens and pencils and textbooks. And now on top of that, you're asking for medical equipment. So that's great to see, like you said, somebody stepping up and supporting the schools.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I guess I'll keep it local as well. I was just like looking at like random articles today, and there was just a piece by a Rhode Island representative where they're talking about the 3 different ways you can vote in the upcoming election, because we've talked about it a couple times. Super important: vote, register to vote, vote absentee if you have to. Do whatever you have to do, but vote. And she just says, there's vote in person, which you can do if you're comfortable with. All the states are allowing vote by mail now. You can request your absentee ballot if you go to vote.org. It's super easy. It takes like 2 seconds. And Rhode Island and basically all the states around here, like New England and the surrounding area, I looked, except for Connecticut, which I'm kind of mad about because I'm from Connecticut, but New Hampshire and there's one other state over here aren't doing early voting, but everybody else is. So they started different dates, but they're like mid-October-ish. Usually, I think Rhode Island's like
October 14th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Rhode Island's October 14th too. So you can vote early. And it's super easy to do. If you literally Google, like, I think if I typed the word vote into Google, it would like know what I want. Like it had like this whole little thing about like, what state are you from? Like, how do you want to vote? And it like walks you through it. So do it.
Yeah, the voting early thing, I did that for the primary for Rhode Island back in September. Incredibly easy. It started for us 20 days before the primary election, so it was August 19th. It started, and usually you got to find out where it's going to be. For us in Narragansett, it was town hall. You walk in, you say I'm here to vote early. They check you got to have a mask, an ID. They take your temperature, ask you how you feeling, blah, 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 blah. As long as you're feeling good and your temperature's fine, wear your mask, go upstairs. You cast an actual ballot right there. You fill it out, you put it in the machine, done, counted, already in. You could also, if you had your mail-in ballot, and if you were leery of dropping it in the mailbox, you could go and drop it off at the spot where you're allowed to vote early as well. And I know that was huge here in Rhode Island for the primary. It's going to be huge in the election in November. But I took advantage of the voting early thing because I didn't want to have to deal with lines on election day. And I was helping out a friend with a campaign, so I wanted to be able to be free and move around and not waiting in line all day. So easy. Took literally 3 minutes. I've never voted that fast in my life. So if you could take advantage of going early, or if you have an absentee ballot and you want to drop it off and ensure that it's counted right then and there, go vote early. So, yeah, we're going to continue to push that message, I'm sure, throughout the program in the coming weeks. But great stuff, guys. We're going to move along now, let you guys get behind the scenes and work diligently here, helping to produce the program. And we'll talk to you again at the end of the show.
Hey, see you later.
All right, that's Mike DeFusco and Joey Morelli. We're going to welcome in our first guest now, the head coach of our men's and women's cross-country teams, Rob McGuinness. Welcome back to the program. How are we doing, Rob?
All right. How are you, Andrew?
Doing good. So you guys have had now basically over a full week of practice. How has that gone? And have you been reminding your players that this fall and the preparation, it's a marathon, not a sprint, even though they're capable of doing both?
Yes, absolutely, Andrew. We are taking a very deliberate approach to the workouts for a lot of reasons. One, we're just making sure that everybody is used to training with some intensity while wearing a mask. It's a little different for us. Certainly for me, we did a couple of workouts last week where I know for me, it was the first one that I had done an up-tempo workout while wearing a face covering the whole time. And I track heart rate when I run. My heart rate was about 20 beats per minute higher than it would have been normally during that workout. So if I have to make the adjustment, and I'm hearing the same from my athletes, it's good that we ease into things. But yes, you're absolutely right. It is more of a marathon than a sprint with no imminent competition on the horizon.
How important is it, do you think, for you? Obviously, if there comes a point where you're hurt or something and you can't keep up and run the practices you want to, but how important is it, do you think, for you, especially now that you can be basically in their shoes? I'm running with you. I'm feeling pretty much the same things you're feeling, and I'm sure the athletes appreciate that as well, that you guys can have a very even dialogue about, hey, coach, we're both wearing these masks. This is hard. How can we change out? That must be very beneficial for you, and it's probably unique for your sport.
It is. I've been fortunate to always be in the workouts during my time here, and it definitely keeps the line of communication open, and it ensures that what's written on the plan is realistic and that it's going as designed. Sometimes that's not always the case. And in that workout that I mentioned last week, I was out with some of our top runners, and we were doing a speed play workout, so there was a little bit of intensity. And we got about midway through the quality segment of the workout, and I looked at my heart monitor, and I said, well, I'm sky high. And I made the call right there to give us a couple of easy minutes. And after the workout, a few of the athletes actually said, thank you for doing that, because I needed it. And they could have spoken up and didn't, because I guess I'd already made the call. But it definitely helps to make some adjustments on the fly when I am feeling some of what they are by doing the same work.
When you were a competing runner with a coach, did your coach run with you, or did you have a coach following along in the car saying, come on up that hill, like I had?
When I was in high school, my coach was on the roads with us most days. He was not in the workouts. He was getting a little bit older, but did do a lot of the road runs with us. And it was sort of a point of pride not to get beaten by coach at that point. And into college, my coach did not run with the team on practice days. He would go out on Sundays with us, but he typically did his runs much earlier in the morning so that he would observe. But yes, I have had coaches out there on the roads with us for sure, and it definitely changes the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of more of a local question. We got the news, I think it was 2 days ago, that the Newport Bridge Run was canceled.
Yeah.
I know that's there's been so many canceled road races this year. Have you done the bridge race before, and were you looking forward to and planning, maybe optimistically hoping that it would happen?
Kind of, sort of, maybe. Yes, I have done it before. I ran it when Slater Rosa's class, when he was a senior, so that must have been 2015. We ran that race as a workout for Slater and wound up with a couple of top 10 finishes, so we did pretty well. I like that race a lot. It's a lot of fun. Once you get past the weight over on the Jamestown side in the dark and the cold, it is a great climb up to the top of the bridge. It's a great view. And then the second half of the race is all downhill. It is so fast. And yeah, I do keep it in consideration for my schedule, depending on where the team is and what we have to do the weekend of that race. But I was thinking about it maybe as a possibility, but as we now know, it will not have its 10th running this year. So hopefully next year for the bridge run.
Is that by far like the most dramatic race you've maybe ever raced in, as far as like the up and then the down? I can't imagine anywhere else where you'd run on such steep inclines and declines.
Definitely the most severe decline that I've had in a race that I can think of. And Slater and I were flying that year when we came down. The closing mile was in the low fives, and there's no way I would have hit that had I not had all the momentum coming down the hill. So yeah, it's a unique race, and one I hope that makes its return in the future, because it's unique to this island and certainly a worthwhile experience for those who haven't done it.
Now, somebody gave me an idea. I don't know if this would be legal to do in the race. I don't know if a race official would stop me and tell me to keep moving. But I've had the idea. I wanted to run that race with my camera. And, when we get to the top of the bridge, I don't care how I finish at that point. I want to stop. I want to get some awesome pictures from the top of the bridge, because there's nowhere to pull over. You can't do that normally. It's the only time you could be stationary, probably legally, on the Newport Bridge. Have you ever seen that done? It's been mentioned to me a couple of times. I don't know if people actually go and do that.
I know that people take selfies. They'll get up to the top of the bridge and whip out a phone and take a quick picture. I think the race organizers discourage too much stopping only because we've only got one lane of traffic going over the bridge. At the pace that Slater and I were going, we didn't see anybody making a stop, but I know for a fact that it's a prime selfie spot for others in that field.
You wouldn't know because you were leaving the picture takers in the dust. They're way back there. I don't see what happened. Nothing. I didn't see anything. Everybody was behind me. What are some of your other favorite races that you've either done or like to participate in?
Favorite races? The Vermont City Marathon is one of my all-time favorites. I think that Run Vermont does an outstanding job. I've done that race 6 times, and I've had my Boston qualifying races there, my personal best in the marathon distances there. Not an easy course, but one that's very well organized. The spectators treat you like you are a superstar. Church Street in Burlington is packed with people, and they're cheering, and they're ringing cowbells and making all kinds of noise. And it is such a great scene on race morning. And then when you get into the neighborhoods, you've got the local residents out on their front lawns, and they'll be handing out ice pops or running their sprinklers to help people cool down. One year when the race actually got stopped due to weather, it was too hot. One house had put out a kiddie pool full of sponges, and those were lifesavers. Let me tell you, when coming through late in the race and being able to grab a sponge and cool off, really appreciated the support from the residents of Burlington that day. So definitely the Vermont City Marathon. What other races do I like? I've done the Disney Marathon once. That one is a lot of fun. It's a huge crowd, but it's cool running through the parks. Definitely worth doing again. And of course, the Boston Marathon. If you can get in, it's an experience unto itself. I hope to go back after I age up again and make another attempt at qualifying. I need to get into a different age bracket. But those are probably the top ones. I mean, I've run a lot of local races at shorter distances. Probably one of the more unique ones that I like that is no longer run, unfortunately, is there was a race on the Lime Rock Park Speedway in Connecticut. So it's a race car track.
Oh,
and
cool.
It was a 5K, 2 laps of the race car circuit, and I was fortunate enough to win the race and set a course record when I ran that one. So there are photos of me coming down the last straightaway, and the billboards behind me are all for BMW and all kinds of automotive stuff. So pretty cool to have those photos and to have run that race a couple of times. Otherwise, there was one, speaking of bridge runs, I got to do it the last year that it was contested. Hartford Marathon Foundation put on a race in Connecticut that ran across the Oregoni Bridge, and I live in Portland, so it started on my side of the river, ran across to the Middletown side. So that's the one race I've ever done where I've got to run across the Portland Bridge. And then definitely the bridge run here is on the list of most unique for sure. But those are the ones that immediately come to mind.
What makes a race for you? What makes those? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the course? Is it the combo of both?
I think it's a combination of all of those things. It helps when things are well organized, and I go back to Vermont because they just do such a seamless job of getting everybody checked in. It's easy to find your way around on race morning. I don't like when I go someplace and it's hard to get organized or hard to get into the corrals. Anything that adds stress, that's going to turn me off to that race in the future. I could tell you about one big one that I won't name because I don't want to disparage them, but it was a large field, 15,000 plus people, and it was reliant on local transit that day and pretty much shut down the transit system in that city. And I remember sprinting up to the top of the subway tunnel and trying to get out to the starting corrals, and I missed the start of the race and spent the first few miles desperately trying to catch up with the people I was supposed to be running with. So when things aren't organized, it definitely detracts. But if you've got great volunteer support, if you've got organizers that set things up with the runners in mind, that really can make the experience. And then the post-race stuff can vary. Marathons typically put on a pretty big spread for food and goodies after the race, and that certainly sweetens the deal. But good organization up front definitely makes the day for me.
You kind of maybe already answered the next question, which was going to be the flip side of that. What is the worst race you've ever ran? Not results, not like, oh, this is how bad I finished, but the course, the organization, all that. Maybe you don't have to name names if you don't want to put anyone under the bus. But that whatever that experience was, what was the absolute worst you've ever been a part of?
The one that I mentioned before may have been the worst. I mean, the fact that I left plenty of buffer time and still wound up late to the start, that was not cool. I'm trying to think what might make the worst. I mean, really, if I had that experience someplace, I'm not going back. So
Yeah.
those are a one and done. I've been at a couple of local races that were just not organized, either because maybe the folks who were putting it on didn't have a lot of background in it, or maybe didn't have enough support to make it run as smoothly as possible. And those are the races I'll do once and just won't go back. Maybe there was a snag with not enough parking, or the start was kind of chaotic. I've had a couple of races where the person designated as the starter didn't necessarily know how to start a race, and didn't know that you give commands to get people ready, and that you shouldn't have dogs and baby strollers up on the start. That kind of stuff puts me off on making a return appearance.
Last question. You finished the race. You're heading. I know a lot of races have that, like you said, that spread of food, or stuff there at the finish line. You going for the hot dog? You going for the chocolate? What is Rob McGuinness? Oh my God, yes, they got Boston cream donuts. I'm going right for that when I finish. What is Rob McGuinness's favorite post race snack?
If it's a marathon, I've got to find chocolate milk. That really helps put my stomach back together, believe it or not. So chocolate milk's a good thing. And then I'm going for anything salty. If they're doing, especially if it's tortilla chips or pretzels, that kind of stuff. It's almost always salty snacks for me.
Awesome stuff, Rob. Great to see you. Love that conversation about the good and the bad of racing. Unfortunately, we couldn't have the Newport race. But it'll all come back. Those courses aren't going anywhere. So
It will.
Great to have you on again, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Andrew. Talk to you next week.
All right, that's Rob McGuinness, the head coach of our men's and women's cross country team. We're going to turn now to two members of our field hockey team, Casey Febus and Allisen Trunfio. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. You both, filled out our little pre-show questionnaire, and you both wanted to talk about the balance of the new practice schedule and classes. I'm sure it's tough enough anyways to balance being the student athlete in both of those things. It's got to be an extra bit of a struggle now, but what has that been like, that adjustment in finding that balance?
Yeah, so it's really interesting, especially with the online and hybrid classes. It adds another thing to think about when you're going through your schedule of the week. And now usually at this time of year, we're doing 6 days a week of field hockey, and now we're doing 4. So I think it evens itself out, and it allows for balance really well.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And it's interesting because we're a fall sport that's used to dedicating most of our time to sports in the fall. So it's funny, like, getting the chance to take a second and look around and see what's happening, like seasons changing. We're able to do more fall type stuff, enjoy the weather a little more. So although it's unfortunate that we can't have our normal season and play games and do all that fun stuff, it's definitely an interesting time. And I think we're all enjoying the time that we get to ourselves a little in hopes of a spring season.
Yeah. What has practice been like, and how is that going? I know you guys must be in like a tryout period, the whole pod thing. What is that situation been like for you guys?
So we are doing pods. We have 3 pods of around 10 girls each. And we're in that pod for the entirety of practice. And we're going to be in that pod for the first 2 weeks of practice. We're hoping to get out of those pods next week. And we are in our tryout period. Our tryout is going to last until October 31st. So it's allowing a lot of time, and it's really understanding of the coaches that this is a different type of season, and we're all coming in different. And it's definitely a huge adjustment, not just for incoming freshmen, but for returners as well, with a different kind of environment. And it's allowing for us a big adjustment time, and so we can really showcase what we do.
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same thing. It's definitely a different type of tryout, but it's definitely beneficial and gives us a bigger chance and a more reliable chance of showing what we can do on the field.
And it allows for us to show our consistency, which is typically difficult over a 3-day tryout period. But now we have a month and a half to really show how we develop over time and over practice, and how coachable we really can be, which is a huge aspect to any player.
It must really help too. Basically, it's been 10 months since you guys were on a field. How has that gone, trying to build up that momentum, as opposed to having maybe the routine of, okay, we played the fall, then we have our spring, summer, train, boom, come in. Obviously, all of that got totally thrown out the window. What has that been like, trying to build that momentum after having such a long break from competition?
Yeah, I think it was very important for us to focus on our time and make use of the time that we did have. This is the most free time we've had in years. This is the first fall I know that I've had free since 7th grade. So it's really about taking advantage of your time and keeping up the hard work so that'll flow right into the spring season and carry our momentum off of our last game. We played really well. It was a loss, but I think we had a really good performance, and there's a lot of good components that we can carry into this next season as long as we keep up the hard work and dedication.
Yeah, the momentum is definitely a hard aspect to keep up just because we've been without the competition of field hockey for so long. But I think part of the thing that really keeps us going is the fact that we even get to practice with our team. Just the team atmosphere gives us the momentum, and we know that although this isn't our season, our normal season anyways, we will have competitions coming soon. So now we have to focus on what we need to work on in order to succeed the way we want to in those upcoming competitions.
In any season, success can depend on experienced upperclassmen motivated by talented freshmen. Talk about the strengths and what you've seen maybe so far from those two groups on this team so far, the upperclassmen, and then what you like and have seen out of your freshmen who've come and are new to the team.
Yeah, our seniors and our captains, Tori, Kate, and Taylor, have been a huge positive voice for us, and they've really been a huge motivator for us to look to the future and keep up the hard work now. And they're setting a great example during practices. They put in such hard work and such dedication, and I think it's setting a really good example for not only just the freshmen, but for the sophomores and juniors as well, because this is a different time for everybody. And to see that they're really taking advantage and making light of the situation that we're in, it really keeps that team atmosphere high and keeps us all motivated for a competition season.
Yeah, we definitely have a wonderful team atmosphere on our team. We all like to motivate each other and keep each other going. And the seniors are definitely a big part of that. I'm sure it's most hard on them considering the idea that this isn't their regular season and it's their senior year, but their attitudes towards the whole thing is absolutely amazing. You wouldn't even be able to tell that they've kind of hit a loss in a way. And the freshmen are doing wonderful. We're so excited. They are a great group of girls, and you can tell they're always giving their best. So it's definitely going to be an interesting season, and I think that our team has a lot of potential.
Now, even though collegiately there's no field hockey happening, there's still, and you guys aren't playing this fall, the recruiting process is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
So coaches are trying to scout out next year's freshmen and all of that. What message you guys have to any incoming people who are maybe looking at Salve, any potential recruits to your team?
I know back home for me, a lot of the high schools are having their fall season. And I know some of them aren't, or it's a different kind of season. And I think it's just very important to take advantage of the time that you have, because your senior year and then flowing into your freshman year is a huge time to really gather yourself and work on what you need to work on most and really make yourself appealing to whatever potential college you want to go to. And I think it's a really good time for self-reflection and just taking advantage of the time that you have and taking it as a blessing rather than a loss.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's not as much of a team building experience this season, but that doesn't discount the fact that it's such a great individual building experience. We're working a lot on stick skills and stuff, and that's something that you can do individually and just create a better odd of you making it into the college level field hockey. And I have to say, although this season's different, I don't think it should discourage anyone from looking out and trying to get onto the teams they want, because playing a sport, whether it's the regular competition or this type of competition, is much better than not playing a sport. It's really a great experience throughout college.
Awesome. Well, ladies, love the positive attitude. Good luck with tryouts, practice, and we're going to have again soon. Thank you so much for coming onto the program here today.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Casey Febus and Allisen Trunfio Salve Regina field hockey team. We're now going to go to alumni from our women's soccer team, Courtney Bouchard and Morgan McBrier. Ladies, how are you doing here today?
Good. How are you?
Good. You both graduated in 2018. I guess first, just what have you been up to? What's it been? What have you guys been doing since you graduated? And then after that, what do you remember about your time here at Salve Regina?
Well, I haven't left Newport, so I actually work at the university in the financial aid office. So I've stuck around. I also did my master's program through Salve, so I just completed that in May. So I've been busy with that. Other than that, I've just been in Newport, enjoying it.
So I'm actually from Rhode Island. So after graduating, I went home across the bridge to North Kingstown for a couple of years and worked as a teacher in Tiverton. And then this past summer, I got a job in Newport at Pell Elementary School. So now I'm teaching in Newport. And again, never really left Newport.
So both working in, learning institutions. What has that been like? Obviously, everything's kind of crazy. We had the shutdown in the spring and now the ramp up through the summer. And for both of you, what has that process been like with your jobs?
It has been interesting, a challenge to say the least. The summer where it's normally a quiet time for us and just like playing catch up for the year, it was definitely pretty overwhelming with families kind of panicking in terms of the financial impacts of this virus. So it was a busy summer, but it's kind of slowing down now and just seeing where things are going to go. But it was a lot.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy working in an elementary school. A lot of kids opted out to do distance learning, but around 500 or 600 are still in school every day. They have to wear a mask all day long, and we actually have pods. So each wing is in a different pod. There's 4 wings at Pell, and you have to stay in your pod. So recess is different. Everything you could even imagine is different. Lunch is in the classroom. It's crazy. It's a crazy time to be a teacher.
Kind of to bring things back to Salve, what do you guys have maybe as a favorite memory from your time of being here or playing on the women's soccer team?
Lots of favorite memories. Probably 2 that come to mind. One of them was definitely our sophomore year
Endicott game.
Yeah, our Endicott game. That will just always stand out. I think just the energy of winning that game was really big.
At home.
Yeah, home game. All things great. Another memory, it's kind of minor, but for preseason, we would go to the beach and do this like fire on the beach, pizza, just kind of time to hang out, not be running on the field, dying together. So that was just kind of a small memory that I like.
My other favorite memory was our senior game. We played in the rain,
my God.
And Reynolds was like a huge mud pit.
Oh, that UNE game in like the monsoon?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Game.
When you thought that you were kicking the ball with the most power possible and it was in a puddle and went absolutely nowhere.
Didn't Coach pull her hammy when Abby scored that second goal? I remember there was like, because it was bananas, and then we were all like, oh my God, 2 goals in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was a wild game. Wish we could have pulled out a win, but a tie and a muddy uniform, still not mad about that.
Yes. What does it mean now to you guys to be coming back and to be helping out and coaching with the team?
I think it's awesome to experience it from this end. It's kind of funny because the senior class right now is freshmen when we were seniors, so it is still kind of funny to have like teammates on the team that we're coaching. But it's definitely an awesome experience. I know this season is, totally just out of whack for them, but it's kind of nice to be there, helping them in any way that we can.
Yeah, it's really awesome being able to still be involved. Courtney and I were walking to practice the other day with like our backpacks on. We're like, are we going to play? Or are we going to coach right now? It was just a weird experience. But it's also cool to be, again, like still working with some of the girls that we worked with our senior year and then coach because she was our coach when we were there too.
Yeah, it's nice to provide some perspective for them too, because obviously this season is nothing that anyone could have predicted, but I think it's important to hear from players who were once on the team and just kind of how it's affected us post-grad too. So it's nice to kind of provide that perspective for them too.
That was going to be my next question. You guys kind of answered it a little bit already. What can you guys bring to the table as alumnus, recent alumnus, who you, like you said, have some relationship still with people on the team, as opposed to somebody else who might not have that connection?
I think that was like a big selling point for Coach Jane too, to have us come on as like assistant coaches. I feel like it was different than anything ever South by Soccer has ever had before, because we can relate to them on such a different level. Like, we know like what you're going through during the runs and during conditioning, and just like know what it is like to represent soccer, like South by Soccer.
Yeah, I think too, like, we can communicate with them in a way that maybe like a head coach can't, just because we have shared their similar experiences as they have. So I think it kind of provides them with a different kind of outlet, in terms of having someone they can go to and just hear from us kind of the bigger picture of it all.
Now, looking at this year and this team, you guys have been able to get onto the practice field a little bit. What do you like about this team so far?
I think they have great energy. I think they're a fun group of girls. And I do think that they're really putting in everything that they possibly can right now. Even just speaking with some of them in terms of like when we were able to incorporate shooting or just different drills, I think they are genuinely excited to just be able to play the sport that they love. So it's definitely helpful for them to keep incorporating those positive attitudes. So that's exciting to see from our end.
Yeah, they're definitely a great group of girls. They're hilarious. Like, they always are laughing, like always chit-chatting away. It's hard right now because they're all in pods, so we haven't really got to see them all together. We're in 4 different pods right now. But I'm excited to see us all come together in the next couple of weeks and like actually get to playing.
Yeah, it's weird to think that a role of an assistant coach is going to be to turn around and make sure that they're not mingling. Like, that's that we have to actively yell at them to not talk to each other. But I think they're really handling everything well and just doing the best they can with what they have. Yeah.
I was going to ask, it's uncharted territory for everybody, coaches and players. In a way, though, for you guys, say, getting into that coaching aspect of it right now, during COVID, do you think that'll give you guys, added perspective and experience so that when we get out of this, whether you're a player or a coach, it'll be like, wow, like we got through that. This isn't that hard anymore. Like, now we have unimaginable amounts of experience to draw on from adversity.
Yeah, I think that'll be helpful for them moving forward, especially just to draw from like, oh, we made it through that, we can make it through this sort of thing. Even just like with conditioning right now, I really feel for them because it's like, oh, I was in your shoes, but then it's like, no, I wasn't, because I was not wearing a mask. And it was still awful.
Like, continuously, we're like, just breathe, and we're like, oh, it's hard to do that now. Like, but
I think it'll help them just in terms of like building off of their goals moving forward and recognizing everything that they were able to go through now and how they can build on that, realizing like they did kind of go through a lot of change and struggles with everything happening this fall.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on today. Looking forward to talking to you guys again soon, maybe, and good luck with both the jobs, because that's difficult enough already, and with the coaching. I can tell you're both really excited for it. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
All right, that is Morgan McBrier and Courtney Bouchard of our South Virginia women's soccer team. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the captains of our men's soccer team. Don't go anywhere.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
Yeah, simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You got to take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
All right, welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andy Pizzelli. We're going to bring in now Casey Kelly and Jacob Guerra, the captains of the South Virginia men's soccer team. Fellas, how are we doing here today?
Good, how you doing? Well, how are you?
Good. Seniors? Like what? How fast has that gone by for you guys? And the last 3 years and change was just feel like a complete blur.
It definitely went by quick. I mean, I can remember yesterday, like it was yesterday. We were coming in for preseason, freshman year, and all of a sudden now for seniors, we didn't get the same preseason, but we're technically in preseason now. So I mean, it's definitely different, but time has definitely flown.
What does it mean for both of you to have been named captains of this team?
It means a lot. We're pretty excited to hopefully play a conference schedule in the spring and hopefully get another one of those in the back for next year.
It's definitely an honor and a privilege to be captains of the men's soccer team. We try and just keep the guys together, keep everyone focused on our goal, which is winning another one of those banners and a trophy to put in the trophy case in Rogers. And, we can accomplish that by just going to work every day, making sure everyone's doing what they need to do, and pretty much, keep the team together.
Yeah. It's been an unorthodox spring, summer. Like you said, preseason, practice is different. Campus is different. What has that adjustment been like for you guys to returning to campus, and then what practice is like right now, even though it's not at all the same to what you guys normally would have?
Practice is pretty tough. We obviously can't do any drills and play like how we usually would. Kind of spread out across the field, mostly doing like individual work. It's tough, but hopefully towards the end of the 6-week window, we'll be back to our normal drills and working together and figuring out our team chemistry and everything.
It's definitely different. Usually we're coming in middle of August, and now we're not starting until late September. We do a lot of our team bonding in August, getting to know each other. We go to the beach after our double sessions. We do movie night. Our annual trip to Smokehouse for team dinner. All that's different this year. We weren't able to do that, but coming out in September and finally meeting our freshmen, that was definitely huge. Being able to play with them, be on the same field with them at the same time. It's different because we're all spread out, but I mean, we make it work.
As you guys said, it's your senior year. You guys are also, we all know, we can see the banner, defending champs. How much does that motivate you and all the seniors to do the right things, be safe, encourage others to follow all the campus guidelines, since that season, the chance to defend that crown is basically what's riding on it?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. We want everyone to do their part. As we're out there practicing with our masks on, being social distant, so we can hopefully go out there in the spring and have our conference, only schedule and essentially hopefully win another one of those banners and trophies. And hopefully, all our other sports will be able to get out there and play, as our spring sports were interrupted and they got their seasons canceled. So I hope they're out there, competing in their championship sports, and yeah.
The last couple of years, it's kind of a story of two teams. In 2018, you guys had a team that had very high expectations going in for the season. And while it was a record-setting year, it ultimately didn't end where you guys wanted it to end. Then coming into 2019, the goal from that senior class was to quote, just not suck. And that team ends up rising to the top of the CCC. What was it like to be part of those two teams and winning a championship on the year where maybe it wasn't as expected?
It was pretty awesome. I think in 2019, we kind of just kept building off of our 2018 year. And I mean, I had probably different expectations than the Captains last year. But it was good that we got where we were, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again.
We definitely lost a lot from the 2018 team, but that didn't set us back. We knew that in order to win a conference championship, we had to put in the work every day. we needed every single person on our roster to be part of the team and bought in. It took all 29 guys last year to win that conference championship. We need them in practice, whether they played 90 minutes, whether they played 30 minutes, or whether they were just warming up. We needed each and every single one of them to win and be part of the team and bought in and focused every day at practice.
Was there a point during the season or even after preseason where you guys knew, like, we're going to have the stuff to win it this year? Or was it just head down, grind away, and we get to the top?
A little bit of mixed emotions there, but I mean, I knew we could eventually, we had what it took, but we needed to be determined and we couldn't think too far in advance. It's always that what's the next game on our schedule? That's the next opponent. That's who we need to focus on. We can't be thinking about, we're playing Endicott in 3 weeks, or we need to focus on the game that we're playing in the next couple of days. That's who we study, that's who we analyze, and that's who we practice for. And that's essentially who is our toughest opponent that week.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on this current team? Like you said, getting to know some of the freshmen. You have a very big senior class. What are your initial impressions of what this 2020/2021 team can be?
We're excited. I'll probably say the freshman class is very good players, and it seems like they'll be able to work into our style of play and like be able to add to our team. So that's good when you have 30 guys that can all contribute a lot to the team and make a difference on the field.
Last question. You guys talked about the the team bonding stuff and how things aren't normal. Are you still required to know everybody's favorite ice cream?
We haven't got the ice cream yet, but today we had homework last night. Our homework for practice today was learning everyone's middle name. So we caught up. We got to first and last name, hometown, home state, high schools. Now we're on middle names and nicknames as well. So we'll see how that goes at practice today. But hopefully everyone studied last night. Fingers crossed. But we'll see how it goes.
All right. I actually just thought, really quickly here, you guys kept pointing out the banner, and I see all the stuff written on the banner. Is that stuff that was written, in the wake of the championship last year? Maybe explain. It looks like everybody maybe signed their names, and I see like passion, positivity. What is that all about?
So last year we had the banner as we were watching the selection show for the NCAAs, and we had the banner on the floor. We had a Sharpie, and we wanted all 29 guys and our coaching staff signing that banner to be, kind of remembered of what that team was all about. And as, we preached every day was passion, positivity, and as Owen Kraft likes to say, ELE, everyone love everyone, because we're a family, and, we need everyone. And it's, it's all about having the passion and being positive, even in the worst moments, especially in some, of our tough losses. But everything's a bump in the road, and we just kept moving forward, and stayed positive, and that's what ultimately led us to a championship.
All right, guys. Good luck with the fall and the preparation. Hope it all goes well. I know the team is in good hands with you guys as captains and in that senior class, and hopefully we can have games this spring, and you guys can defend that crown. Thank you for coming on and joining me here today.
Thank you, Andrew. Hopefully we can get you back on the call for some of our games this spring.
I know. I need to call games. I'm not cutting this until I'm calling games. So by the time we get around to you guys, it might. If you guys are the first games, it's going to be down to here. That's going to be scary. All right, fellas. Take it easy. That is Jacob Guerra and Casey Kelly of the Salve Regina men's soccer team. We're going to take a very short break and be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Seahawk Talk. Andy Pizzelli here to help close out the show. I'm going to bring back in the producers, Mike DeFusco and Joey Morelli. Fellas, what did you think? I always like to get your thoughts on our guests from here today. We had a loaded program. Great to see alumni, current athletes. And what did you guys think of today's program?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, it was packed. Like, what do we have, 7 people? It's like, that's a record, I think. Like, that's definitely the most guests we've had. It's great though hearing from alumni and current players. Like, and we got like all over the board. We got, alumni, seniors, and then sophomores. 23? Yeah, sophomores. And like, but just that everyone's saying like the same thing. It's like, we got to stay positive. We want to have our seasons. We need to, be safe. It's an adjustment, but like, we're working on it, and everyone's like working together because they really want the seasons. And I say it every time, it's good to hear them say that they want to be responsible to have the seasons, because if they're responsible and, don't get everybody sick, then that means no one has to go home. They're not going to accidentally, ruin it for somebody else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. It's become almost like a consistent message at this point. But it's true. We repeat it all the time because it is true. And I want to say, like, I like to hear that these people who came through Salve as students now giving back and working in education. They both seem like very bright people, and I can't think of a better profession, a more fitting profession for people like that. Who are passionate about just educating kids who will now, come through Salve, hopefully. And then also just to go along with the keeping, staying safe thing, there was a report today that Gina Raimondo, our governor of Rhode Island, just put out a little statement just saying, be safe, because we've seen a slight uptick in cases. So to all, kids or, anyone watching, just, keep that in mind and remember what we can lose. So,
yeah. Joe, anything from you here to close out today's program? I know you like to always find the fun stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say I had a serious thing, but I will mention, I didn't bring it up earlier. Just saying that, like, if you can get tested, do it. I got tested today. They gave me a random thing. I had to go get tested today. I got to see Coach Hurd. He was, doing the type in, signing people up thing. Got to say hi. But yeah, no, I had a serious topic, earlier, like how to vote. So I gotta bring in something like weird and goofy. And on the same website, like right under that story, was Emmanuel Church in Newport, blessing of pets on Sunday. So if you want to get your pets blessed, if that's something you're into, bring them in. They said bring a lawn chair, because I guess it'll take a while. I don't know. They're like, we're gonna be socially distanced. You bring your pet, get your pet blessed, I guess.
They want you to come there and take pause.
Yeah, take pause. Yeah,
it's the least you could do.
At least 4. Sometimes none, if you're like a snake. I guess that's not a paw on a reptile, but whatever.
That actually would be a funny thing if we could find out who's doing that. What's the strangest pet you've been asked to bless?
Oh my God, yeah, I'm gonna ask him now.
So I don't know if I'm gonna bless your Komodo dragon. I'm a little scared.
Oh, I want to know now. It's probably not gonna be anything interesting, but it could be.
Somewhere, maybe not in New England, but I bet you a Florida man somewhere.
Florida man, bless his alligator.
Yes.
Yeah, bless his snake, alligator, lizard, any other aquatic animal. Maybe someone's going to bring their goldfish down there.
Probably.
I'll do that. I have one.
Go, bless them. Bless them, in the words of Jarvis Landry. All right, guys, great show today. We had a lot of guests on. You guys did great work in the background as always. And we're just gonna have 2 more loaded programs to round out the week. But final day of September, we got October tomorrow. Fall is now in full swing. So thank you for your work, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right, that is Mike DeFusco and Joey Morelli, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. I want to thank all of our guests today: Rob McGuinness, Casey Febus, Allisen Trunfio, Courtney Bouchard, Morgan McBrier, Jacob Guerra, and Casey Kelly for joining us here on the program. We've got 2 more days left of this week. Loaded shows once again. Just a reminder, we're live every day, 3 to 4 p.m. here on the Salve Athletics Network. You can listen on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. If you missed a show, you can go back and watch the archive version, or you can subscribe to the podcast. Just search for Seahawk Talk on your favorite podcasting app, and you can never miss a show. So that'll do it for today's program, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you all again tomorrow in October. Bye-bye now.